let's go ahead and talk about graphics file formats. Why are graphics file formats important? Well, if you use the right format for the right situation, you'll get an optimized result. Essentially, that's what we're going to be talking about, is which file formats to use in which situations to get those optimized results. I'm going to go ahead and click on the graphic file formats from the website, and let's explore some of what those are briefly, and then we'll show you how to do some optimizing of the graphics in preparation for putting them on websites. First one is JPEG. JPEG stands for Joint Photographic Expert Group. It's primarily used in photographs, and we have a couple of photographs here that we're going to be optimizing for the web using that format. GIF stands for Graphics Interchange Format. It's primarily used with logos and other graphic images like arrows and those kinds of things. However, it's being replaced by PNG in many ways. PNG stands for Portable Network Graphic, and it gives you a few additional features with the graphic that make the graphic look a little bit better when it's optimized. It does have a little larger file size, but PNGs are replacing GIFs on the internet at this point. Now, many of these other file formats are file formats that you'll see when you work on projects with clients, or when you receive image information from print shops or other groups that your clients may be working with. One of those is TIFF, or Tagged Image File Format. That's primarily a print used standard. The next two terms, lossy and lossless. Lossless is a data compression algorithm which retains all the information in the data. Lossy does not. EPS, Encapsulated PostScript, is an extension of the PostScript graphics file format by Adobe. PostScript, you could write a number of books on that. PostScript is usually used in with your printing environments, and it's an interpreted stack-based language, and so that's what PostScript is. PDF, portable document format. You see a lot of PDF files coming out of the Adobe suite. Vector graphics, basically a line or movement defined by its endpoints, or mathematically generated lines and elements. So those are your vector graphics. Raster graphics, based on pixels arranged in rows and columns. Bitmap graphics, data file or structure which corresponds with a bit image on the screen. Pixel, same kind of thing. It's the smallest component of an image. SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphics. .ai is an Adobe Illustrator document, and a PSD is a Photoshop document. So those are your primary graphics file formats. Let's go ahead now and do some optimizing in JPEG and then in PNG. The first image I'm going to optimize, I've got here on the desktop. I'm just going to drag that into Photoshop. And what you get, this is directly from this is a raw image from a high-end digital camera. If we go up to the image, and I'm going to go ahead and move this really quick, but if we go to the image and drag down to image size, we can see that this image size has a resolution of 72. That is screen resolution for the web. The pixel dimensions is 3,504 by 2336, and so what we probably want to do, if you displayed an image this size on the web, it would be huge and you'd have to scroll around to see it. So let's go ahead and make this a little smaller so that it would fit in most of your tablet or web desktop environment. So if we set the width to about 800, you're going to get about a 500 height, and so let's go ahead and click OK on that. Make that 100%, and that's about the image size. So the first thing you do is you pull in a high resolution image, is you determine its size. Next thing we do is we're going to save this image for the web, and we get to pick some file formats. We have GIF, JPEG, PNG, and WBMP. This is a photograph, so we want to go with a JPEG, and let's set the quality on this image to about 80 because we want to keep a high quality. It's more of a high quality shot. The size of this image, now as you play with quality, some may ask, well, why don't I just leave the quality at 100% or very high all the time? Well, that's going to increase the download speed or the download time that it takes to get that image across to your computer. And so you're kind of playing with a difference between speed and quality. And so, you know, depending on the kind of user you have and their internet connection, if they have a really slow internet connection, that might be a problem if you have a really large image. And so we're going to go ahead and optimize this at about an 80 quality. Go ahead and click Save. We'll save it as stonehouse2.jpg, and I'll go ahead and stick that on the desktop and say Save. So that image is now ready for a browser, and if I went and grabbed this stonehouse2.jpg and drug that into the browser window, we'd have our optimized image, 800 by 533, ready to be contained in some kind of element. Let's go ahead and look at the optimization of, say, a logo. I'm going to go ahead and drag an Adobe Illustrator created logo into Illustrator. And what I'm going to do with this image is I'm going to prepare it for the web, because obviously we're not going to drop an AI image on the web. So I'm going to go to File, Save for Web, and what it does is it brings up the image for me, so I can optimize it to put it online. Now, what are my options for optimizing? Well, I can do GIF, no dither, dithered. Now, what is dithering? Dithering is really a dot pattern that it creates, that the computer generates to make it assume a different kind of a color. And if it dithers it creates that using a dot pattern. Really online, I don't like any dithering. Probably the most preferred format is this PNG24. So on this one, I'd probably go PNG24. It's got its size. I can go ahead then and click on Save. I can name this fortegolf.png. Click Save. And now that image, if I drag that into the browser, so I got this fortegolf.png ready for the browser, I can just go ahead and drag that into a browser, and I've got my image ready to use in HTML. So those are two optimizations. And we could play with a bunch more, but that's what you're trying to do primarily is make your file sizes and qualities appropriate for the user experience that you're trying to create.